Hi everyone, this is Melissa Moak again for CIT 365, and it's been a couple of weeks since I posted a demo video because we didn't have anything due last week. But we've been building up, learning C# and Razor syntax in order to make this My Scripture Journal application. Last week we kind of started off making a little movies database and used what we learned from that to create this My Scripture Journal. So I just want to give you a little demo of how it works. So first off, you come to this scripture list that gives you a list of all the scriptures that are in the database. You can search by book or search by keyword, and you can see the book, chapter, verse, note, and date. Notice book and date are highlighted, which means that they are sortable. So if I were to click book here, it would sort it ascending. Or if I were to click date over here, it would sort it ascending, so earliest to latest. We also have this page, second page down here, which makes it nice, and it only shows, if I go back to the first page, there's only 5 entries here per the requirements. The search features are kind of nice. I made it so that when you search by book, you don't have to get the exact title right, because I kept putting in Nephi, thinking it would give me all the Nephi's, and it wasn't coming up with anything. But I've made it such that I can put Nephi in, and it will give me all 3 or 4 of the references that are in Nephi. You can also search by a keyword. Say we want to look for script. If we click search here, we can find the part that has the word script in it. Also notice that by searching by keyword, my search by book goes blank because it's an OR. You can't do both searches at the same time. So if I were to go back and search this one again, something like Alma, and click search, my keyword over here blanks out. It's no longer there, which I thought would be nice for the user so that they don't accidentally try and search 2 and realize that it's only searching by the keyword because that's the last one in the list. So this is the scripture list part of it. Let's go in and add a scripture note and show you how that functionality works. Okay, so we come into this add scripture note. We have a book, chapter, verse, and note that we can add. So let's go maybe Nephi, chapter 12, or chapter 9, verse 12 maybe. And this one, I think, is about Revelation. And we can click add entry, and if we come over here to our second page, we have our second Nephi, chapter 9, verse 12, Revelation in there. Now, something to note on this add scripture note here is that if I try and just hit add entry, it will tell me that chapter and verse need to be a number, and that the book is required, the chapter is required, and the verse is required, and the note is required. So, if I were to just type random stuff in here and click add entry, it would still tell me that chapter and verse need to be a number. Because the chapter and the verse are both, they're not strings, they're numbers they need to be in order to actually make that work. So if we were to do another one here, First Nephi, chapter, I'm trying to think what else is in First Nephi, let's go, Alma, here, we'll do this one. Mosiah. I don't have Mosiah yet. Chapter 2, verse, I think, 18 is about service. Now if we try and do it, I can add the entry, and all the errors go away, and we can see that I now have a nice entry over here. So next, let's say we wanted to, 2 Nephi 9:12 wasn't really about Revelation. So if we go in here, we can click Edit and come in here, and it will pull in all the information that's needed. And let's say it really was about the power of prayer is the note that I want to put with this one. Notice though that if I take this chapter off on accident and try and submit it, it will tell me that chapter needs to be a number and that chapter is required. And we'll put a 0 in here until I put something in. Now if I were to try and submit it with a 0, it would also tell me that chapter needs to be a valid chapter number, such that it can't be a 0 or a negative number. It needs to be a positive number. So if I were to do 23 here, oh I'm sorry, it was 9, and submit changes, power of prayer should now show up. If we go to our second page here, should now show up right here on your note. Now, let's just say that 9:12 really just doesn't hold a special place in our heart, and we want to delete it. We can come right over here and click the delete button. It'll show us 2 Nephi 9:12, power of prayer, and we really do want to delete this. And if I go back to my other page here, it's gone. So that's my scripture journal, or my scripture journal demo, and I hope it meets the requirements.